Hey everybody, this is Greg Gossett from Gossett Trading and Mentoring Live, and today is Friday, January 3rd, 2020, and we are in the final hour, or the final day of the trading week, and the final hour of the trading day. As I mention each day, in my opinion, the most valid prices to make your buying and selling decisions from are at the end of the day, right before the market closes. During the day, you have the algorithms, you have the day traders moving prices around. I consider it a lot of noise. At the end of the day, you have the large financial institutions, you have the market makers coming in with size and moving the prices to what, in my opinion, are the most valid prices of the day to make your buying and selling decisions. That's why I make the majority of my buying and selling decisions right there at the end of the day, just with a few minutes left. So so we're having quite an interesting day in the market. We had some news overnight. It looks like the U.S. Assassinated or killed one of the leading generals in Iraq, and so that's caused some geopolitical tension. The futures last night were down big. They were down close to 300 points. Right now, the Dow is down 178 points, about 0.62%. NASDAQ's down about 49 points, about a 0.5%, and the S&P is down 14 points, 0.45%. So a little bit of volatility coming into the market after we've had such a kind of a nice, easy run in the last part of December. So, hey, Steve Burns, what's going on, my friend? Good to see you. Thank you so much for coming today. And thank you so much, Steve, for adding me on your Friday list of traders and investors. I always appreciate that. It's an honor, seriously. But Steve says, hey, Greg, I am still in my gold trade. What a move. I know. I was watching that because I know you are still in gold. Look at this. Look at this monster trade Steve's had back here. Here, a little sideways action, and then boom, boom, boom. So we're up at 81.48 RSI. So fantastic, fantastic trade, my friend. And I'm going to be going over gold a little bit here. And so interesting. What is your stop going to be? Are you going to wait for down to 70, or are you just going to use a stop close below your previous low, or if we have this kind of bearish reversal bar? I was thinking about that earlier, what your plans were on that trade. But fantastic trade, my friend. Really great. So listen, thank you all for coming. I really do appreciate it. It's nice to see you each day. I look forward to it. I appreciate you spending your time here, investing your time, and I hope that you are getting some kind of return on your time investment, and that this live stream is helping your trading and or investing. So thanks a lot. I really do appreciate it. So all right, the plan for today, first of all, we're going to go ahead and run the U.S. legal disclaimer. After that, we're going to come back. We're going to talk about my current positions, talk about when I bought them, why I bought them, how I'm going to manage them moving forward. Then we're also going to go through some of the trades that you have shared with me. Some of the people in the chat have put their trades in, so I like keeping track of those. So we'll go through those, take a look, see how they're doing. And if you have any questions, like my opinion on managing those trades, please let me know. After that, we're going to do a few minutes on trader psychology. I think it's important to cover trader psychology each day. In my opinion, having the right mindset, having the right psychology, and be able to stick to your plan is the most important skill that you could ever attain in trading. There are masters out there with charting, technical, support, resistance indicators. There's masters, but unfortunately, some of those masters, they're the best at charting, but they can't stick with their plan. So they have a great skill at charting, but their skill at sticking with their plan and their emotions needs work. So if you find yourself, having a pretty good understanding of support and resistance levels, but if you find yourself making a plan and then not being able to stick with the plan, that is definitely something you need to work on in 2020, right? It's more important, in my opinion, than being able to be a wizard at charts. So, whatever it takes, reducing your position size, having a loved one or a relative or husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, if you tell them about your plan, and maybe they can help you stick with it, right? As soon as you have somebody looking over your shoulder, you're going to probably trade like you're supposed to. Just like if you're driving and there's a policeman behind you, boy, do you drive great, right? So it's the same thing with trading. If you have someone looking over your shoulder, you have to be accountable to, it makes a difference. So that's one of my suggestions. And the other suggestion I have is reduce your position size. That way you won't have so much emotion, and that way be able to follow the plan as well. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit on trader psychology. After that, we're going to go through my entire watch list, each stock one by one. We're going to take a look at support levels, resistance levels, indicators like MACD, RSI, moving averages, ATR channels, Keltner channels. And my philosophy, the way that I look at trading, I look at each indicator as a potential group of buyers. And if you want to have the ability to make a profit on a trade, you want to be in the company with as many groups of buyers as possible. So therefore, if I look at each indicator as a group of buyers, I look for a combination or a confluence of indicators as many groups of buyers or several groups of buyers coming in. So first thing I look for, number one, a confluence or a combination of indicators, or another way to say it is a confluence or combination of groups of buyers. Secondly, I have to make sure there's a good risk to reward ratio. I need to see at least 2-to-1 risk to reward. So if I'm risking $100, I need to be able to make at least $200 based upon the support and resistance below and above me. And thirdly, I need to make sure that I do not have too many correlated positions. So after that, if I find something that fits all that criteria, I will go ahead and place an order at the end of the day. Then after the market closes, if you have any questions whatsoever, please let me know. I'm happy to answer them. If you'd like me to take a look at any particular stock symbols, I'm happy to do that for you. And if there are any particular stock symbols that you think would be helpful for the group to look at before the market closes, if you'd like me to break down the charts before the market, a chart before the market closes, don't be shy. Just put it in the live chat. Maybe put an asterisk by it so I know it's time sensitive. All right, so that is the plan. So if you could please hang on for about 40 seconds. I'm going to run the U.S. legal disclaimer, and I will be right back. Thanks.
This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Please carefully read and/or listen to the U.S. government required disclaimer before watching this video or live stream broadcast. The video link and disclaimer text are located in the description section of this video or live broadcast, here and here. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks for sticking through that with me. Mount Doji, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Thank you for coming. Hope you're having a good day. Steve says, I'm looking for a bearish candle on gold to get out. Could be today. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. Steve. Thanks for sharing that with me. Because I think a few of us still have gold. I don't have gold, but I think a few in the group possibly have gold or have options on gold. So that was my thinking as well. Hi, JT. Good to see you, my friend. Really appreciate you coming today. Hope you're having a good day. Marco, hey, how you doing, sir? Hope you're having a good evening in Slovenia. It's always great to see you. I look forward to it. And if there's anything I can help you with or answer any questions for you to Marco, please let me know, okay? Dirk, how you doing, Dirk? Good to see you, my friend. Thank you for coming. Bing He, hello. Good to see you. Bing He's our friend from Singapore. I hope you're having a good morning over there. Man Solo, hey, buddy. What's going on? Man Solo and I had a great lesson last night. And really great to work with Matt Solo. He's really picking this up very, very quickly. So thanks for coming, bud. Bing He said, sold DRI at 112.16. Thankful for that. Somehow I decided to lower my price target, although today, and seems like the right choice. Good. I'm glad to hear that. And it's good to see you have a nice little profitable trade under your belt. And we'll go through that in just a minute, that particular trade. So thanks for coming, Bing He. Hi, William. Good to see you, my friend. Hello in Hawaii. And hope Cooper's doing well. Cooper's William's dog. So thanks for coming, bud. And Pat O'Connell, nice to see you, sir. Thank you very much for coming and hope you're having a good day. All right. So, well, let's get to it, shall we? So I only had one position today, and it is the all-famous overnight SPY trade. And I know you guys see this every day. I apologize, but in case we have some new viewers, I do want them to understand why I do buy the SPY each day at the close. and I sell it first thing the next morning. This is from a long-term backtest study from Liz Ann Saunders at Bespoke Invest on Twitter. But with this backtest since 1993, you had two options. First option was buying the SPY at the open each day, selling it at the close. So buy the open, sell the close, buy the open, sell the close. If you did this every day since 1993, you would have returned a negative 13.9% return for all your troubles. However, if you do the opposite, which is what I do, and you buy the SPY at the close, sell it first thing the next morning. So buy the close, sell the next morning, buy the close, sell the next morning. You've actually returned a positive 634.2% return. Past performance, no guarantee of future results. Of course, we know that with any trading result, but I would rather allocate capital to a backtest study that has good results than bad results. And buying in the morning, selling in the afternoon does not have good results over time. Buying in the afternoon, selling the next morning right at the open does have a really nice equity curve. Doesn't go straight up. There's ups and downs. There's always going to be ups and downs. It's just a normal part of random distribution. But if you have an edge in something and you keep that edge, this is what it turns out to be. So, Steve Burns was nice enough to share his backs test, not only just on the SPY, but also on the SSO and the U-Pro. The SSO is the double leverage. The U-Pro is the triple leveraged. And they actually all have positive results. The U-Pro, the 3 times, of course, has the best results. The double leverage, the SSO has the second best, and the S&P has the smallest results, but still great results. So, it just kind of depends on your risk tolerance, what you want to do, so forth and so on. So I'm just sticking with the vanilla old plain SPY. So with that being said, you would expect a huge gain on this today, right? Not to be. I did buy the SPY yesterday at 324.87 and got the very bottom of the market today. But this is how it goes. I remember in May of 2019, I think I lost 80% of my overnight SPY trades. It was a little discouraging. But if you look at it in the long run, like I showed you that chart, I did very, very well last year with this very simple approach. The key is not to buy too much. You're going to have ups and downs. You may have a year up and then you may have a year back down, right? But I'm playing this for the long term, as with all trading. You need to look at trading for the long term. Everyone understands long-term investing and the benefits of long-term investing, but when it comes to trading, everybody wants to make $1 million in a day, right? Or they want to make it in a week, or they want to make a lot of money in a month. I don't even think like that. I just think I have a process. I'm going to follow the process. There's going to be up times. There's going to be down times. There's going to be up years. There's going to be down years. It happens. You do have down years. In 2018, I actually did make a profit, which was great considering the market, but it can get frustrating, right? So that's why it's important. Take a conservative position size. Don't get too emotional or anxious and burn too many calories on one trade. It's just one trade of the next 1,000 trades. Just like in a casino, the blackjack dealer does not stress out about every hand that he or she deals that loses. They don't care. They just know it's the next one of 1 million hands that's going to be played. But the casino has an edge, and over time that edge is going to play out. It always does. If you have an edge in trading, it will play out. It always does, but you're going to have ups and downs. So don't get too euphoric when you're making money. Don't get too depressed when you're losing money. Just stick to the plan, right? One trade out of 1,000. So this was a big hit, actually. But that's how it goes. I may have a month down using this, but I do believe in it, and it does make sense to me on a variety of levels of why to take these kind of trades. So this was unfortunate, but that's how it goes. And I will be buying this again at the end of the day for sure. And that's the only trade I have, thankfully, right? I'm glad for that. I'm very happy for that. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. I was expecting a package from Europe, and I thought that might be it, but it was Amazon. All right. So let's take a look at some of your trades. I was saying before, I'm really fortunate and feel fortunate that that's the only long position I had today. So, try to always look at the bright side. All right, so Comcast. This is from a man solo. This is a great trade. A man solo had back here. He had a higher low V2. In addition, it bounced off the 200-day. I like whenever you have confluence or combination of a trade. So we were closed below the 1 ATR channel. We came into the value zone. We had a couple days down. Then we had a nice V2. In addition, it bounced off the 200, giving us even a little bit more confirmation. And this has been a really, really nice trade from On Solo. It's moved quite a bit from his entry. I think he's looking for a close below the previous day's low. And right here, it was way down, but it's recovered nicely. So anyway, I imagine On Solo is going to be keeping this today. I'm not 100% sure, but you can let me know, On Solo. But this has been a really, really nice trade on Comcast. Builder BLDR. So Mount Doji. I don't know, Mount Doji, if you still have this. Looks like you took this back here on the 24th. You had this bullish engulfing bar and a nice V1. Got up profitable many days, but it couldn't really get quite going. If I would have been in this trade based upon this entry, I would use a close below the halfway of this trigger bar here that we had, the V1 bar and the washout bar. And so it looks like earlier it was much lower. Now it looks like it is above the halfway. So anyway, a little bit of a loss on this, Mount Doji. Let me know what you're going to do with that. DRI, okay, so Bing He said he sold at 112.16. Oh, nice. So almost got the top there. So 112.16. Nice trade, Bing He. He had a had this nice V2 here today, false breakout to the downside, and it moved his way nicely, and nicely. So I don't have any problem getting out there. We're kind of bumping up against the 50 RSI, 20 EMA, and glad to see you have this nice trading. Congratulations, Bing He. Hope we have a bunch more of those. All right, so. Zoom. So Evan took Zoom a couple days ago with this this swing trade to the upside here. V2 washed out the previous low. Yesterday it moved up nicely. Today it looks like it's coming back down, but the market's down a lot, so it's not surprising. If I took this trade, I would probably use a close below halfway of the washout bar here, or it did move about 1 ATR away, or a close below. So let me know what you're going to do with that, Evan. FedEx, so I'm on solo. He wasn't able to tell me this yesterday during the live stream, but he told me last night during our lesson. But he did take FedEx here, higher low V1 back on the 31st of December. Moved up nicely yesterday, like right out of the gate, right? Moved up nicely. Looks like it lost the 50 RSI today. Yesterday it went above 50. Looks like we're going to lose the 50 today. If I was trading that, I would probably just go ahead and lock in profits here, but I'm not sure what the plan is. So let me know. I'm on solo. BA, so Alan took BA yesterday. Was a V2, gapped here, but it was down earlier and it was up earlier, so it is down a little bit today. So it looks like he's about break even on the trade. MACD did go positive, so that's a good sign. So Alan, if you're listening, let me know what you're doing with that. CarMax, Alan also took CarMax yesterday, 89.37. Unfortunately down today. It is holding the 30 RSI. It was under 30 and over 30. So I'm considering buying this today. I'll just have to see how it all looks at the end of the day. So if Alan's in this, I mean, if I was already in this trade from here yesterday, I would probably hold it until it closes below 30 RSI. But of course, that's just my opinion. And that's it. So anyway, let's take a look here. Bing He says, what do you think of WMS? WMS. Well, we were above the value zone. We came into the value zone 1 day down. We basically had 1 day of sideways movement, and then we had the V1. Um, Look, it's not bad, but two things I don't like about it, and Aman Solo is going to be laughing when I tell him, but because he knows exactly what I'm going to say. We had one day sideways movement, and then the trigger, the V1 trigger. I like to have a couple days. You could call yesterday another sideways movement, but in that case I would need today to wash that out. I don't think I would take this right here, from the -1 ATR channel to the positive channel. I don't like to buy more than 75% from the bottom to the top. So here would be about my maximum. Here we're pressing up to the 1 ATR channel. Very likely we're going to find some resistance there. And we didn't get enough sideways movement for me. So that's my opinion, being he on WMS. I personally wouldn't take this. Doesn't mean it's not going to go up, but just want to give you my honest opinion. Man Solo says, what was a fun session? Greg, 3+ hours and time flew by. Yeah, that was a marathon session, huh? Man Solo's really picking this up. I was really impressed. So great student, Man Solo. Really, really great. You really do have kind of a natural knack for this. And I'm looking forward to our next one. Oh, by the way, are we still on for Saturday? Speak to your wife. Mount Doji, I am out of BLDR, phased out luckily. Oh, okay. Good to hear that. That's my favorite word, phase out, right? Okay, Alan, hey buddy, what's going on? I went over your trades. KMX, it is holding the 30, so that is positive. And then BA, not too bad considering the day, that's for sure. So let me know what you're thinking, Alan. Mount Doji says V and Q and O look very similar to me, and I would like to hear everyone else's thoughts about it. V and Q. Well, I would not be interested in V and Q, and I'll tell you why, Mount Doji. See, yesterday we had this big, huge bar. Whenever you have a large down bar, larger than 1 ATR, from here to here is an ATR, from here to here is an ATR. When you have a large down bar, you are going to usually find some type of Fibonacci resistance at the halfway on the way back up, right? This is about halfway. You see exactly where we're finding resistance, like to the penny. So I personally would not be interested in this. I would want to see it come down in the value zone, move sideways for a couple days, and then have a nice V1 or a V2. V and Q, that's what you wanted me to look at, right? And then O. O is stronger because yesterday we had the big down day, but now we are strong enough to see how we've managed to go above halfway. Or in V and Q, we got stuck right at halfway. It did bounce off the 200-day, which is good. As far as a higher low V2, it currently is a V2. But I didn't get the 2 days down. We only had the 1 days down, and it's up against, yeah. Me personally, I wouldn't take it. Doesn't mean it's not gonna go up, right? But I just want to give you my honest opinion. I don't like it because we didn't have 2 days down. But it is strong today for sure. Did it reject the 50 RSI yet? Let's take a look. Yeah, it did reject the 50, Mount Doji. Earlier today it wasn't 50 and it did reject it, which is a bit of a bearish sign. Alan says, staying in BA and KMX. Yeah, BA has some good relative strength today. I mean, it's down $1, but for a $332 stock, it's not down much. So that one's holding, and MACD did go positive today. I do like that. And CarMax, yeah. Frank, hey buddy. What's going on, my friend? Frank, oh, we got another poem. Man, Frank, we're getting into the habit of this, which I love, but it puts pressure on Frank to come up with a poem every day. Let's read it. Hello all, a poem. Don't just read a chart, listen to it. For a chart is a musical score with notes and measures and so much more. Hear its music and you can't go wrong, for every chart sings a song. Holy smokes! That's amazing. I'm telling you, Frank, you gotta put out a book of trading poems. What a niche, right? And you're so good at it, man. That's amazing. That's amazing. Tell you what, you don't get Frank's poems, trading poems, every day on CNBC. I can tell you that, right? Thanks, Frank. That's really great. Don't just read a chart, listen to it. For a chart is a musical score with notes and measures and so much more. Hear its music and you can't go wrong, for every chart sings a song. Oh, man, so good. Alan says KMX ultimate profit target is 92, which is halfway of the drop. Thoughts? I like your thinking, the halfway of the drop. That does make sense from a Fibonacci standpoint, somewhere around here. Would you say 92, 92? Yeah, I like that. It makes sense. It makes sense. But more importantly right now is, your downside risk. So, make sure you have a plan to the downside. All right, so listen, this is the time of the day where I like to talk about trader psychology. There's some really good Twitter channels, Facebook channels that put a lot of time and energy and effort to putting out, good trading words of wisdom, good sayings about trader psychology. And you have to think to yourself, why do so many people do this? They do it because they know how important it is. It is so important. And this is from Mark Minervini. Of course, he's very famous, market wizard at Mark Minervini on Twitter. So if you haven't subscribed to him, I would suggest you do. He's a market wizard. When he speaks, I think people should listen. But I really did like this. I thought it would be helpful. Mark says, if you want to be a great trader, stop looking for a newer, easier way. Instead, perfect timeless principles. All the effort wasted jumping around trying to find the Holy Grail can be used perfecting your own specialty. The Holy Grail is skill. Everything else is temporary. So, it's true. Worthwhile things take effort, right? And so, he's saying here using instead perfect timeless principles. Perfect timeless principles are support, resistance, price action, keeping your losses small, letting your winners run. This is what he's talking about when he talks about timeless principles and analysis, right? Back testing, things like this. It's important that you find a method that fits your personality, right? There is no holy grail, but there is a kind of a holy grail for you, not as far as the results, but what fits your personality. I don't like to trade in the morning, so that's why I'm an end of day trader. I like to phase out. I don't like to have one entry, one exit. Not saying that that's a bad idea. It's probably a better idea. I don't know. There's pluses and minuses, but for me, I have to do something that fits my personality, something I can stick with, right? You could have the best trend trading strategy in the world, but if you can't stand to hold the stock more than 1 or 2 days, it's not going to work for you, right? So, there is no easy way of trading. You have to do analysis. You have to find an approach that fits your personality. You have to overcome fear and greed and all these things. That's why, I always say you have to be able to follow your plan, right? You have to position size correctly, have the right psychology, have the right analysis, all these kind of things. So it's not easy. You need to work at it. But listen, if you can work at it, come up with a good plan that works, that fits your personality, that you can follow over time, and it's based upon good support, resistance, technicals, all this kind of stuff. It's a great way to make a living. You don't have to have a job, so forth and so on, but you do have a lot of ups and downs. So anyway, thank you, Mark Minervini. Really thought that was helpful, and I hope that was helpful for everyone. And again, it's Mark Minervini at Mark Minervini on Twitter. So thanks a lot. I thought that was a great post. Okay. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, let's get to it, and we'll see if there's anything happening today. Apple, at one point Apple was up today, which was amazing. I mean, this stock is so strong that when the market was down 250 points, it was up. Unbelievable. But now it is down. Now it's down $1.76, which isn't much for this stock, but talk about the relative strength of Apple. My gosh. I mean, yeah, amazing, amazing, amazing. We did hit the $300 mark. We bounced off of it. probably just because of the news. Who knows? We could be well above 300 if without the news. And by the way, it should be interesting to see how this market closes. I mean, there's probably going to be a lot of headlines, things developing over the weekend. So should be interesting. But Apple, as usual, broken record. I need to pull back. It's just too high up here for me. Need to pull back at least into the value zone. I might have to wait a long time. I've been waiting a long time to get in Apple, just never had an opportunity. But that's how it goes. But at least I'm following my rules. At least I'm following my filters, right? Trend traders are doing great, but that's just a little different than how I trade. But I know a lot of people have a lot of Apple and they've done very well, and that's great. Really, really happy for you. Adobe. Okay, Adobe was above the third ATR channel. Now we are under. That's significant because the third ATR channel or the third Keltner channel, 90% of prices tend to fail. If you look at charts recently, you would think, oh, these prices don't have any problems with the third ATR channel. And that is true. 90% of the time they fail, 10% they rock and roll, right? And we are in that 10% mode right now. But we are back under the third ATR channel. Doesn't mean I'm going to short it. But it has come back under, which is significant. I'm looking for a pullback into value here, some kind of V1, V2. Amazon, my goodness. Guys, look at this gap. Gap up, gap up, gap down, gap up, gap down. Really volatile, really gappy here. Did have nothing here today. Need a pullback. At the very least, some kind of bounce. Bounce or rejection or close under the 200 and back over the 200. I did take Amazon back here when we closed. We were under and then we closed back over the 250 day. This is a good back tested approach, which if you're wrong and it closes back under the 250, you just get out, you have a small loss. If you're right, you may have the possibility for a big gain. And this is exactly what we had. So we bought, it held, and then it made its move. I did get out here. Phased out, and then when it closed below its open, but still above the previous day's close, that's when I got out. It's a bit of a bearish bar. And it looked like it was the right move, and then it took off yesterday, and then it's down today. So nothing on Amazon, but I would like to get into Amazon, but a bounce off the 200, possibly. We'll just have to see where it happens. When it happens, where it is in relationship to the 1 ATR channel, but a bounce off the 200 to close under, close back over, or a rejection, or a pull back into the value zone, back into the support back here would also be, I honestly would feel better about buying Amazon here at the confluence of the 50-day moving average and the 100-day moving average and the -1 ATR channel and the support. This is really where I would like to buy Amazon if I had my preference, somewhere in this zone, right? 50-day moving average, 100-day moving average, -1 ATR channel, and previous support, and it's in the value zone. I would like that much better than buying a bounce off the 200, but I'll just have to see where it happens when it happens. So this, I was talking with a man solo last night. Look at a chart, identify where it would be a good entry. Maybe paste it on your wall, make yourself a note, follow it each day. But this is a great example of if Amazon comes down here, this is where I want to buy. Boeing, of course, we talked about that. Alan has that, bought that yesterday. Did close above the 10-day moving average, which was positive. Did close back up into the value zone, which is good. About break even so far on the trade, but that's pretty good considering today, Alan. And we did have a MACD crossover. Me personally, I would wait for a bounce off the 30 RSI, or possibly if it keeps moving up into the value zone, then we have a couple days down, then we have a nice V1 or V2 entry. That's what I would be looking for. So either to the downside, if we test this previous low, if we have a low RSI near 30, or if we keep moving up, looking for a bit of a pullback, and then a higher low V1, V2. Berkshire Hathaway, we were way above the value zone. We kind of started to move sideways. We did have a big day up yesterday. We are back in the value zone. So right now, we're in the value zone. I need to see this start to go sideways for a minimum of 2 days, and then a false breakout to the downside and reversal, or in other words, another V1 or V2. So I would like to buy Berkshire here, but I just have to wait for it to fulfill my requirements. Into the value zone, a little deeper down would be better. Couple days of sideways movement and then a V1 and V2. Let me clean something up here. Okay. Beyond Meat. Boy, it's kind of a hot mess here. We made a lower high, then we washed out the low. We didn't get a V1. Now we've made a lower high. Honestly, for me to get interested in Beyond Meat, I would need to come down here, wash out this low again. We do have a higher low V1 here, but it's only 1 day down, and it's actually not quite. So I'd feel more comfortable with a test of these previous lows, a low RSI, something like that. Caterpillar, interesting chart here, guys. You can see, and girls, we moved sideways. Yesterday we had a breakout, right? We had a breakout to the upside. Now we have a false breakout to the upside. It poked its head up. Now we're back down into the range. And Man Solo, we talked about this from the buy side. When you have the range, it pokes its head down real quick and then goes right back up. That's bullish. But this is a false breakout to the upside. Yesterday it broke out and came right back into the range. So that's a false breakout to the upside. So am I going to short this? No, but just do want to point out that it is a false breakout to the upside. And we have a lot of double tops and a lot of bearish divergences lately. So something to consider. The Dow, same as Caterpillar. We broke out to a new high yesterday. Now we've come down, and at the moment we are lower than this previous high. You know, we broke out. This should act as support. It didn't act as support. So now it's going to act as resistance again. So this is another false breakout to the upside. Disney, you know, we had that huge big bar up yesterday, which is quite positive. I didn't want to buy up here because it's above the 1 ATR channel. You know, I'm not suggesting this. I'm just pointing this out. You know, if somebody, you know, this was a big move yesterday on big volume. But if you missed out on this, you know, this does look extremely bullish. But, you know, if you did miss out, this would, you know, be a time anyway to, if you wanted to get into this, you know, you get a discount from yesterday quite a bit, and you're still holding halfway of this bar. I'm not suggesting you take this, but it's just a good teaching example. If you have a big bar that's just too big for you to get, sometimes you can wait for a pullback as long as it holds the halfway, and it is holding the halfway. So, you know, if you're dying to get into Disney and you missed it, or you didn't want to buy here, of course, here you get a haircut on the price. You get a better price, and there's still really no technical damage done here. It is still holding the halfway, but I'm not going to buy Disney here because the stop's not really defined for me. I guess you could use a close under the 50 if you wanted to, but just a kind of a teaching moment. If you have a big up move and you miss it, and the next day it comes back down but keeps that 50%, the chart is still intact, but you get a little better price. Etsy is just too high up here. We made a lower high. I would need us to come back in the value zone, wash out this previous low, have some sideways movement, V1, V2. Facebook down a little bit today, pretty strong considering the market, but again, pull back into the value zone is what I'm looking for. Gold, look at gold, everybody. So a little bit bearish of a bar today. This huge gap up. Looks like we may close below the open. A little bit of a pin bar reversal. Probably not a bad place to maybe take profits if you had this trade. I know Steve still has this trade, so congratulations, my friend. We took gold also, or I took gold also back here along with Steve when the 5 crossed over the 20. I like these moving average crossovers because if you're wrong quickly, and you're wrong fairly small. If you're right, you have the ability for a monster like this trade. So we bought it when the 5 crossed over the 20, stayed in, phased out, phased out, phased out, phased out, phased out. I actually got out here. I ran out of shares. So I wasn't able, if I wasn't phasing out, I didn't run out of shares, then probably, okay, I would have got this extra 2 days. But just like Steve, this would be on my radar to get out of here today because this is a bit of a bearish bar. So this was a great trade for us. Shows you that the 520 EMA crossover, you can have a lot of small losses, but then you can have a really nice gain like we did and like Steve did. Google, look at this, gapped way down, reversed way back up. Looks like it's a false breakout to the upside now too. See, here was the previous high. We broke up. Now we're down below. So nothing here on Google. I need to pull back into value. Goldman Sachs, false breakout to the upside yesterday. Boom, boom, right back into the values, or right back into the range. I would need to pull back into value to get interested here. Home Depot, hanging in there. We were above the 1 ATR channel. We came back into the value zone. We have 1 day sideways movement, another day sideways movement, another day sideways movement. But so we're in the value zone. We're moving sideways, but we need a trigger V1, V2, and it can't be too high. If Monday we washed out this low and then closed above here, it would be too high in the channel. From here to here, I don't like to go higher than 75%. The reason why is the more you start going up or down away from the mean, the more the rubber band pulls. Your easiest trades are literally in the value zone up to the 3rd ATR channel, right? Once you get up here, 90% of prices fail. Doesn't mean they all fail, but majority of them do. So nothing on Home Depot. IBB, boy, Dr. Long, he bought a put here, but I think it already expired. But look at this. We were above the value zone, came into the value zone. When we went down, we went down. We had 1 day of sideways movement. Did we have a 2nd day of sideways movement? I guess so, but the bar was too big. And now we've dropped out of the value zone. So it couldn't hold the value zone. So now I would be looking for a move back up into the value zone, then a couple days down, and then a higher low V1, V2. That's one option. The other option would look for some kind of deep dip buy down here, maybe 30, low 30s next to the 50-day moving average would be interesting. So nothing there. Intel, just too high. Need to pull back into value. The Russell, we were above the value zone. Now we're back in. That's what I was looking for. Does it mean I buy now? No. But 2 criteria have been filled. We're above the 1 ATR channel. We've now come back into the value zone. Now I need a couple days to show that it's strong enough not to keep going down. I need some consolidation. Then a V1 or a V2, ideally down here. Nice V1 or V2 that rejects the -1 ATR channel would be great. So, this is now getting into the range, but we just need to do a couple more things before I can take a buy on it. Johnson & Johnson, same, above the value zone, came back into the value zone. Things come back to the value zone. They do. So we're in the value zone, but now I need a couple days sideways and a V1, V2. So essentially looking to buy this dip. CarMax, so Alan bought that yesterday. I mean, a couple good things. We did go under 30. We did go over 30. It is a false breakout to the downside from this previous range here. So we did poke our head down and back in. I'll watch this. I would like a few more things going on, to be honest with you, though. I'd like a double bottom, something like that. Well, I'll watch that at the end of the day. Coca-Cola, we're above the value zone. Now we're back, or we were above the value zone. Now we're in the value zone. So that's good, right? We were being patient. We were waiting things to come in the value zone. We're here now. Now we just need some consolidation to see if it will stop going down. Kind of, you throw a big rock in the water, you get all sorts of commotion. And we need that water to kind of calm down. And by that, I mean we need the price to just kind of go sideways and mellow things out and then look for a V1, V2. So nothing there, but a couple stocks starting to possibly look interesting. Lockheed Martin had a huge day. Of course, they're a defense contractor. They make military stuff and weapons. And so I'm not surprised at all that this had a huge day, especially with the tensions with Iran, but way too high for me to buy. I need to pull back into value. Good example, though, of sideways movement. Small bars, sideways movement leads to big bars. Either the upside or the downside. We don't know what direction, we don't know when, but we do know it happens. MasterCard, need to pull back into value. McDonald's got right up there to that 200-day moving average and found resistance. Nothing for me here. I need to pull back into value. Merck, same thing, guys. Here we've made a lower high. I would need to wash out this low into the value zone, V1, V2. Microsoft down today, pull back into value. Netflix has been holding the 200-day moving average, but it's just a little too high for me in the channel to buy this. It's above the 1 ATR channel. Yesterday got to the 2 ATR channels. Decent risk to reward here, but I'm going to let that one go. Nike, strong, need to pull back into value. Philip Morris coming back into value. That's what I'm looking for. You know, we had this previous trade over here, really great example, and it looks like the same thing's happening. We were above the 1 ATR channel, then it came into the value zone. So step 1, we make a higher high above the 1 ATR channel. Step 2, we come into the value zone. Step 3, we go sideways. This is everything I'm looking for. Step 4, we need a trigger. This was the nice V1 entry. That's where we took the trade, and it was a beautiful trade. All right, picture perfect trade. We scaled out, scaled out, scaled out, scaled out, scaled out. I got out there of the remaining shares. Now we're above the 1 ATR channel again. Same thing, rinse and repeat. We need to pull back into value. We're here. We need some sideways movement. We have it, but now we need a V1 or a V2. But if we had a V1 on Monday, it would be too high because I don't like to buy from here to here. About 75% is my max. So ideally, I'd like to see this pull back into the value zone a little bit more. But it'd be nice to have really nice back-to-back trades on Philip Morris. But it's starting to possibly set up. PayPal, false breakout to the upside. Yesterday it went up. We're back in the range. Need to pull back into value. Qs. Earlier today it was a false breakout to the upside, but now it is not. But way too high. Need to pull back into the value. Silver. Up a little bit today. Nothing right now. I would need the 5 EMA to cross back under the 20 and then back over, or a pull back into value. We took silver back here when the 5 did cross over the 20, happened right in the value zone, which is exactly where I like it. And look at this trade. 1, 2, 3, 4 days in a row. We scaled out the whole way. I ran out of shares right here. So that was a great trade on silver. S&P, of course, we got knocked over the head today with the overnight SPY trade on that bad news, but that's how it goes. It's going to happen. I will be buying this again today at the end of the day and selling it first thing Monday morning. How are we doing on time? All right. TLT, big, strong. Big, strong. People piled into bonds. We're above the 1 ATR channel now. Now I need to pull back. Sideways movement. I think someone had this. Was it Frank? I think. So that's looking good. I hope you still have it. Tesla, of course, all the Tesla bears were probably excited when all the bad news came out, and it's up regardless. So need to pull back into value. Twitter, well, we're above the 1 ATR channel, back in the value zone. This is good. Now I need a couple days sideways movement, V1, V2, and I would look for that. UNH, above the 1 ATR channel, in the value zone. Couple days sideways movement, look for a V1, V2. Oil, of course, had a huge day because of the Middle East tensions. Can't do anything with it that high. VIX, geez, guess I should have held on to my VIX. I did buy VIX here. Believe it was here. Now I can't remember. I think it was here. Moved sideways, had a nice couple days up, phased out, and then down, and I got out here. And then down yesterday. And then we've gapped up and reversed back off. But we do have a double bottom with a bullish divergence. Here's a low. We have red bars. We rally with green bars. We come down, make a lower low, no red bars. This is called the double bottom with a bullish divergence and missing right shoulder. And today, huge gap up. MACD is positive. So nothing there on VIX today. Verizon, we were above the 1 ATR channel, came into the value zone. Moved sideways, did have a V1 here, but it was larger than 1 ATR, so I did not take that. Now we have lost the 1 ATR negative 1 ATR channel. So I would be looking for either a deeper dip to the downside, maybe down here, the 3rd ATR channel and the 100-day moving average, or move back up into the value zone, a couple days down, and a V1, V2. Walmart, you know, this was a nice looking setup above the 1 ATR channel into the value zone. Lots of nice sideways movement. We never really got the trigger. So nothing there. Energy, nothing there. Financials, same thing, guys. Just waiting for a pullback into value. We are in value zone now. Now we need a couple days sideways. Real estate, you know, I was talking again. If you have a big bar to the downside, you're probably going to have resistance at halfway. And that's exactly where we are. Here's the big bar down, larger than 1 ATR. We did rally to V1, right? But a V1 into too large of a bar, and we're stuck right at the 50% mark. Utilities, same, big down day. Where are we going to find resistance to the upside? About halfway. Oh, look at that. Big bar. Where did it give up? Exactly at halfway. So that resistance came in. So nothing here on utilities. We are back into the value zone. We did make a lower high. We did wash out these previous lows. So now I need a couple days sideways movement and then a V1 and V2. And healthcare. We were above the 1 ATR zone, above the 1 ATR channel, came back into the value zone. 1 day sideways, another day sideways. If this was a V1 here, I would take it, but it's not. So nothing there. So really the only thing I see today, guys, at all is possibly CarMax with a false breakout to the downside, close back over, went under 30, over 30. Let's look at the weekly. The weekly does have the -1 ATR channel as some kind of support. You know, I told you guys at the beginning of the year that I was going to tighten up on my entries and just really look for the really good, nice entries. Now, I mean, this one's fine. It did go under 30, over 30, and false breakout to the downside. My thought here, though, is, you know, we have this 200-day moving average. I think it's acting like a magnet. So I'm going to go ahead and pass on CarMax today. So really, the only trade I'm going to take today is going to be the overnight SPY trade. So let's see if anybody else has any that we want to look at. Steve says, here are the normal distribution stats for a bell curve. Oh, good. Steve says 68% of observations are within 1 standard deviation away from the mean. Okay, so what he's saying is 66% of observations are 1 ATR away from the mean. 95% are within 2 standard deviations. So from here up to the second, 95, and 99.7 are within 3 standard deviations. So from here to here. So I've been saying 92, 90, 92%, so I was a little off. It's actually even higher. Thanks for that, Steve. Yeah, so it's tough to get something to move 3 ATRs, right? Really tough. Steve says, great writing, Frank. I'm telling you. It's fantastic, right, Steve? And Steve says, I tweeted your poem. Oh, that's good. Steve says, hey, Greg, Etsy had a 10-50-day crossover. Oh, let's go over here. So that's a 10. Uh-oh. Yeah, you know what? Steve is absolutely right. I did not notice this. Thank you for pointing this out. But yes, we do have a 10-50 crossover, and it's just above the 1 ATR channel. So actually, this does qualify. I don't know why I didn't catch that. All right. So let me write up the numbers for this. So here's the crossover, right? The 10 SMA crossed over the 50 SMA. If it was above the second ATR channel, I would not buy this. However, because it's underneath there, I will go ahead and buy this at the end of the day because the 10-50 SMA does backtest well. So going forward, my target is going to be a 70 RSI up to here. To the downside, if we close below both the 10 and the 50, because that's the crossover I'm using, if we close below both the 10 and the 50, I will stop out and most likely for a small loss. But if I'm right, I have the possibility for a nice outside gain. So yes, I will be buying Etsy today, ETSY, at the end of the day because of the 10-50 SMA crossover. I have its own chart for this, and I didn't look at it, so thank you for that, Steve. Really appreciate it. And I do like that it rejected it went under the 50-day moving average and back over. But it is a valid back-tested approach. Long term, it is profitable. Will this trade be profitable? I have no idea. Absolutely no idea. But that is the signal, the 1050 SMA crossover. And as far as my parameters go, it is not too high today. So I will go ahead and buy that at the end of the day. Man Solo, KM has a nice bounce off the 30 with the bullish MACD. Yep, I agree. I agree. I like this one better though, a Man Solo. So I am going to pass on K. Oh, KIM. I'm sorry. KIM. KIM? Has a nice bounce off the 30 RSI with bullish MACD divergence. I think we're looking at the different chart. I'm on Solo. KIM. This MACD is not positive and it didn't bounce off the 30. So maybe you put in the wrong one. OKTA. Imperfect V1 but has a bullish close above MAP. Yeah, it is a V1 closing above 50, closing above the moving averages, and did bounce off the 200, so that's pretty good as well. Yeah, I will show you the Etsy backtest, Evan, for sure. And hey, buddy. Let me go ahead and put these orders in, though, because we're getting close to the end of the day. All right. Okie dokie. So let me go ahead and put this order in. Okay, there's one. And okay. So we got that taken care of. And let me see. So that's it, right? What else we have? So I have SPY at the end of the day, and that's it. So let me see if I can pull up etfreeplay.com, backtest, Etsy, oops, 1050 SMA. All right, so there's your back test. 1050 SMA simple crossover. Not huge numbers, but the back test did perform better than buy and hold, and the maximum drawdown was almost half of the buy and hold drawdown. So winning percentage pretty good, 61%. 61%. So that's the back test right there on the 1050 SMA crossover. All right. And then I'm buying the SPY. So that will be it. Evan says, rough start to the year for me. Close ZM so far. All my trades are losers. Yeah, that's how it goes, right? That's how it goes. But, you know, if you're positioning size correctly, then it's easier to come back from, right? That's why I always suggest that you know, position size correctly so that if you are wrong, it's not going to beat you up too bad. Thoughts on ARCE? ARCE. Well, we were above the value zone, Mount Doji. We did come into the value zone, move sideways, which is good. We then did make a lower high, so we need to wash out these lows. We did wash out these lows, and then we went nicely sidewards, but we didn't really have a V2, right? We didn't have a V1 or V2. It did move across most of the moving averages. It is above 50 RSI, which is good. Not too bad, but for me, there's no real valid V1 or V2. Your trigger would have to be today with the move over the 5, the 10, and the 20. So not bad, not bad. Oh, you like the weekly? Let's take a look. Okay, so weekly, we closed below the value zone. Then we rallied back up. We had 1 week down. Yeah, not bad, not bad. Good point there, Mount Doji. It's not a perfect, it's not a perfect higher low V1 because we didn't have 2 weeks down. We had this 1 week down and then one here, but really good eye on that. I do like the rejection of the 5, the 10, and the 20 week and higher low V1. Not perfect because we didn't have 2 weekly bars down. But yeah, this does look good, especially in, I was talking with Amon Solo like this. It's so important when you're looking at something to buy on the daily that you also look on the weekly and you see if something looks decent on the weekly. On the weekly, does it have some support at some other moving average? Is it too high in the channel on the weekly? But I do like this. I do like this on the week. The weekly's right smack dab in the value zone. We tried to go lower so on a weekly basis, we did have a V1, and then here, this is okay. I actually like the weekly better than the daily. So did anybody take any trades today? If you did, please let me know. Let's see how things ended up here. CMCSA, so Mansolo, looks like it did hold above previous day's low. I don't know if Mansolo still has that, but looks fine. FedEx did rally. So Mansolo's positive on that trade as well. Nice going. Boeing did end up positive for Allen. It's higher than where he bought it, so that's good, and it did hold up really nicely. KMX, which is CarMax, I decided not to take this. I could have with the rejection of the previous and then back up and then the under 30, over 30, but I decided to go with Etsy instead. All right, so Etsy, let's see, where did I get filled on Etsy? 44.94. All right, so 44.94. So down about 5 cents so far. But again, on Etsy, if I get a close below both the 10 and the 50, that's what I use for the crossover. If I get a close below both the 10 and the 50, I'll just go ahead, get out of it. To the upside, I'll be targeting a 70 RSI, probably somewhere up here. So it does give me a good risk reward ratio. Oh, and then SPY, what's our new SPY trade today? And then our SPY, we got filled at 322.41. 322.41. All right. So far the overnight SPY trade, unfortunately I didn't take it on the last day of the week, so I didn't get this one, but I did get this one. So I'm 0 for 1 in 2020. And if you started from the beginning, you would have been 1 for 1. All right, so those are the only two positions: SPY, overnight SPY trade, and then Etsy with the 1050 SMA crossover. So listen, if you have any more questions, you want me to take a look at any other symbols, please let me know. Before I do that, just real quickly, I'd like to put in my quick little daily plug, let everybody know that I do offer private one-on-one coaching, teaching, and mentoring lessons in the evening time via Skype. I love to teach, I really do. I've had really good success with my clients. I do have a course. It's one-on-one on Skype, 5 sessions. Each session's between 2 and 3 hours. And I think if you take the course, I think it's really going to help you. I really do. I've had really good feedback from my clients. I think they've learned a lot. I think when you're done with the course, you're going to be able to look at the market in a different way. It is $1,000, but I think it is very worth the money. I teach you everything I've learned over the last 24 years as a full-time trader, everything I've learned from all my coaches and mentors, and then things that I've developed myself. So, it's a combination of 24 years of experience into about 10, 15 hours. And I think it's pretty reasonably priced, honestly, for what you get. So if you're interested, it usually starts just with the kind of a first interview call. It's a free call on Skype. I like to talk to you, get to know more about you, hear about your trading journey, what your challenges are, what your goals are, and then I'll put together a lesson plan that will hopefully help you achieve those goals. You can ask me any questions you'd like to ask me. So it's just to see if we're a good fit, and it's totally free and there's totally no obligation. So if you're interested, please let me know. You can send me an email. My email is in the description of this video, and then you can also send me a private message on Twitter. And I actually have a call tonight with Karen. So looking forward to having that call and seeing if we're going to be a good fit. So I'm looking forward to that tonight. So hope to look forward to talking to you later, Karen. And then also, if you like today's podcast, if you're learning something, if you find it valuable, I would really appreciate it before you head out of here, if you could hit the little thumbs up button down there. It helps promote the channel on YouTube, gets the word about the channel out there. And there's a lot of people that need help with trading. There's a ton of people. And that's why I started this channel. I really just wanted to teach people what I've learned and to help them so they don't have to go through what I did when I was in my early 20s, which was horrible. So if you could hit the thumbs up button, it would help bring more people here and help more people. So, okay, that's the end of my plug. So thanks for hanging through that with me each day. Let's take a look. Okay, Mount Doji says, I scooped it up if you want to keep track with me. I do. ARCE. All right, so Mount Doji picked it up. I'm not exactly sure what the price Mount Doji. If you have an exact price, let me know. Otherwise, I'll kind of be guesstimating here. Okay, Katie, hold your horses. Mount Doji. All right, Mount Doji's on the board and accountable. Give me one sec. All right, here you go, sweets. Katie wanted back in. All right. So we've got Mount Doji on the board there with that trade. Good luck, Mount Doji. Hope that goes up for you, bud. Dr. J says, I wonder if Trumpy had the VIX and had calls on it, on oil. Wow. Well, that would have been the trade today. Buy VIX and buy oil, right? John says, IIPR. IIPR. Well, John, so here we have a high above the 1 ATR channel. Let me make sure. Yeah. So here we have a high. We do come back into the value zone. We bounce, but we make a lower high. This is lower than this high. So when you have a lower high, you need to wash out the low. Well, we did wash out the low today, and we did have a V1. But again, this bar, the day one bar, is too large. It's larger than 1 ATR. ATR is from here to here. That's from the third to the second to the first. Right? These are equidistant, same distance. So, but if the day one bar, everything looks fine, right? We make a lower high, we wash out the low, we have a V1, but it's not valid in my opinion because this bar here, day one's bar, is larger than 1 ATR. To get a bar to move more than 1 ATR, it takes an extraordinary amount of selling or buying to move something larger than 1 ATR, either to the upside or the downside. So when you have a bar that's larger than 1 ATR, you're very likely going to find resistance at halfway of the bar. And you can see we didn't quite get there. We couldn't even quite get there. So me personally, I wouldn't take this trade because the previous day's bar was so large to the downside.
with some volume as well. So, you know, there's all sorts of V1s and V2s. They happen all the time, but they have to be the right context, right? Day one's bar can't be larger than 1 ATR. They need to be in the value zone. They need to have sideways movement. So there's tons of V1s, V2s all the time. But if you were to take every V1 or V2 that came along, you'd lose money. It has to be the correct setup. Everything has to align in order to put yourself in a position to have edges with V1s and V2s. And so the very fact that day one's bar is so large here, I would stay away from it. Let's look at the weekly. Weekly, well, we did have a higher low V2 on the weekly last week, which isn't too bad. We are in the value zone, so the weekly looks okay. Doesn't look bad, but on the daily, I would not take the trade because yesterday's bar was larger than 1 ATR. So I hope that helps, John. Amansola says, still in CMA, CMCSA, and FedEx. Greg, what is your moving average setting in your 14 RSI chart? Is it simple, exponential, or Wilders? I think this is why we may have different RSI readings. Well, let's look. Expression close, period 14, initial true. So those are all the settings that I have there. Usually I'm pretty spot on with everyone else's RSI. Greg, what is your moving average setting in your 14 RSI? Let's see if we can look at, yeah, 14 period. And I don't have any other options as far as changing anything around on that. Ryan, hey Ryan, good to see. Sorry, Ryan, I'll get to there in a sec. Dirk says, "Come on, Greg. Mount Doji. Hope y'all have a good weekend. Gonna go to Costa Rica next week. I'll try and stop by and say hello." Oh, that's fantastic, Mount Doji. Hope you have a really good trip. Thanks for coming by. Have a good weekend. Dirk says, "What are the best and recent books that you advise with regards to trader psychology, position size, and money management?" Down below in the description of this video, Dirk, I have my book list to read, my favorite books. And if I were you, I would start with 2 books. I would start with Moving Averages 101 by Stephen Burns. I think that is absolutely fantastic. It's one of my very famous trading books. And then over here, and then the other one I would suggest is Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. This is just a classic book, and it really is based upon psychology. And this one is free, guys. This is on YouTube. Just type in Trading in the Zone, Mark Douglas, Trading Psychology. But like you said, when it comes to trading psychology, this is the book that I would suggest. And this one's free. Just look it up on YouTube and you can listen to it. It's an audiobook. And as far as the other one, Moving Averages 101 by Steve Burns is excellent. One of my very, very favorite books. And then also, if you look in the description of this video, let me see if I can pull this up real quick. Let me see, so I can make sure I give you the right information. Okay. So first of all, I would listen to this, Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. And then here are my recommended books. Here is Moving Averages 101. And then here, this is also by Steve Burns, The Ultimate Trading Risk Management Guide by Stephen Holly Burns. So Moving Averages 101 from the technicals. And like I said, you can just scroll down in the description of this video, and here's the links to Amazon. And then this is Steve's, I think, most recent book. Where are we? The Ultimate Trading Risk Management Guide. So for technicals, Moving Averages 101 by Steve Burns. For risk management, The Ultimate Risk Management Guide by Stephen Holly Burns. And then from the psychology, I would recommend Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas.
and that one's free. So I hope that helps, Dirk. Ryan says, hey, Greg, on that overnight SPY trade, is there a way to back test it and take it when it's above the 9 EMA and pass when we close below it? I guess so. I'm sure, you can come up with all your own filters, Ryan. I don't know how to do that, to be honest with you, but, if you can code or somebody that can code, there's a lot of platforms that you can try all sorts of different stuff. So you think the filter would be overnight SPY trade. Is there a way to get back tested and take it when it's above the 9 EMA and pass? Sir, that could easily be back tested. You just have to have a platform that you could back test it on and know somebody that knows how to back test. Ryan says, I asked because looking back at my chart, it doesn't seem to do well when it closes below the 9 EMA. Oh, that makes sense. But honestly, in the long term, I don't know if it's going to improve the results or not. I honestly don't know. But, if anybody out there is a good back tester or could recommend somebody, maybe you could type it in there for Ryan. Because it can't be that difficult. It can't be that difficult to code in. Matt Doji says, New Trader U has them all. That's correct. That's correct. New Trader U is Steve's site. And all those books I was talking about, and here it is, newtraderu.com. This is something I subscribe to here at Steve's weekly video newsletter. He breaks down the charts 3 times a week, gives you his insight and how he's viewing the market. And I subscribe to it myself. I listen to it every single time it comes out. I really, really enjoy it. And then, of course, he has other trade courses, things like that you can take a look at. So it's newtraderu.com. That's our friend Steve Burns. And then, of course, you can subscribe to Steve on Twitter, which you really should, at @SJosephBurns on Twitter. Dr. Jorgensen says, good hike off on my bike. Hey, that rhymes. You're like Frank now with the poems. Good hike off on my bike. Ryan, and I guess my next question is, what backtesting program do you use? Well, if I knew how to backtest, if I knew how to code, Ryan, like here's Trade Navigator. This is what I use, right? Trade Navigator. You can easily backtest that if you know how to program it in here. And I think TrendSpider, you can do backtesting. I think Steve uses TrendSpider. I'm pretty sure you can backtest in that. So you need something where you can backtest. And Trade Navigator, the one that I use, definitely you can use. TrendSpider you can use. And I'm sure there's others. Does anybody have any maybe feedback for Ryan? But essentially, you would just do you would program in the back test to say, okay, buy the open, sell the close, buy the close, sell the open. But if and only if it's above the 9 EMA. But I'll tell you, Ryan, Steve brought this up the other day in his weekly video newsletter. Tom Basso told him this. Tom Basso is also a market wizard. But, a lot of times in uptrends, we will gap lower, reverse, and close higher. In downtrends, a lot of times we're going to open higher and close lower. So sometimes even in downtrends, this overnight SPY trade may not do too poorly because there is kind of a tendency in downtrends to gap higher, which would be a positive overnight trade, and then close lower. And sometimes when you're in an uptrend, you gap lower and close higher. So, something to consider. But it would be interesting if you do that back test, if you can find somebody to help you do that back test. I'm sure if you put it out there on Twitter or something like that, maybe someone can help you write the code or give you some advice. But I use Trade Navigator. Trade Navigator, you can program all sorts of stuff. I just don't know how to do it. Dirk says, thanks for your advice on the books. I will order Steve Burns' books. Great. Order the books and do yourself a favor from a psychology standpoint, Dirk. This book, Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas, is a classic. It is a classic book that really gets to the heart of psychology and what your mental. This book's been a huge influence on me, and it's free, right, on YouTube. Dirk says, I use TradingView for charting and backtesting. Okay. Yeah. You know, Ryan, I have a friend, Jackson, in Australia, who's pretty clever with TradingView. Maybe I can talk to him about that. Maybe he would have some ideas. I know he's been moving and hasn't been able to come here, but next time I speak to him, I will mention this to him and see whether or not he has some suggestions. Ryan says, awesome, thank you. I was just a quick look at the chart. It was just a quick look at the chart, so I was curious. Yeah, I've had many people ask me, about filters on the overnight SPY trade. And, you just don't know until you backtest it, right? You just don't know. But I do know the current backtest works pretty well. And, today we got clobbered on the SPY trade, but I'm sure it was above the 9 EMA, so you wouldn't have missed out on this guy either, right? Okie dokie. Take a look here. Okay. So if anybody has any other questions, let me know. JT says, I used to use Aquasystems in the 90s till 2015 and did back testing and coding, but it cost $90 a month. Ah, yeah. Yeah, some of these, Trade Navigator, I believe, is about $100 a month, but it's a powerful platform. You can do auto trading, you can do all sorts of back testing, has all the indicators. The nice thing I like about Trade Navigator, which I haven't seen anybody else have, is the ability to this what if tool, which is really helpful for me. I can move I can move today's bar or tomorrow's bar and say, okay, where is the 50 RSI going to be tomorrow? Where's the 70 RSI going to be tomorrow? And Trade Navigator is the only platform I've ever seen, but this platform is so powerful. It's like way beyond me. I hardly use any of it, but it is fantastic. And if any of you guys ever do get Trade Navigator, you need some help setting it up. I do know how to set it up, and I can set it up quickly for you. And it does have backtesting. And if you don't know how to backtest, I just thought of this. You can call Trade Navigator, tell them your idea, tell them what you want to do, and they'll just write the code for you and send it back to you. And then you just put it in here and boom, you can just see it. I'll try to maybe work with this over the weekend or in the next few days and show you a few current back tests that they already have so you can see. But it's nice. I mean, it breaks down so much stuff, so it's good. All right. Well, I'm going to start saying goodbye to everybody. If anybody has any other questions, please let me know. But Ryan, thanks for seeing you. Thanks for coming. It's good seeing you. Appreciate you being here, and I hope you have a good weekend. JT, thank you, my friend. It's always great to see you, and hope you're doing well, and hope you have a nice weekend. Dirk, thanks for coming. It's really nice to have you as an addition here, and keep me up to date what's going on with your trades and all that. Dr. Jorgensen, good seeing you. And I'll talk to you later. Mount Doji, thanks for coming by, and hope you have a really great trip to Costa Rica. That sounds fun. That sounds really great. I need to go on a trip. A man solo, good seeing you, my friend, and great lesson last night. It's really been a pleasure working with you, and I look forward to our next lesson tomorrow night. And John, nice to see you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you have a nice weekend. If you have any questions, please let me know. Evan, sorry that you had a rough start to the year, but the year is young, right? The year is young, and you're a good trader. You've had some good trades, but I mean, look, we had a big whipsaw from yesterday to today because of news, right? And that's always a risk. So, Bing He, really glad that you had that trade, that positive trade, Bing He. Nice to see that, and I hope you have a lot more. Hope you have a good day in Singapore. Frank, thanks for coming, my friend. And I'm serious, write a trading poem book. Every trader would have it. What a great coffee book, right? And it's a niche. I've never seen anybody do that before. So that's just my marketing of all the years that I was in marketing coming in. So, I mean, clearly you're a great writer. Clearly you are. My gosh. So thanks for coming, bud. Really great seeing you. I'm going to post your new poem a little later. And Steve Burns, thanks for coming, my friend. Always an honor to have you here. I'm always excited. I know everyone else is, be able to rub shoulders with Steve in the chat room. I mean, that's a big thing. It's a big thing, and I appreciate it. And I also appreciate you putting me on your Twitter list today. Thank you very much. That's nice of you. Alan Bailey. All right. So KMX. I think Alan still has KMX. It did close above the 50, so that's good. If you don't still have it, let me know and I'll take it off. But thanks for coming, Alan. Always nice to see you. And I hope you have a nice weekend. And Pat O'Connell, thank you, Pat, for coming. Appreciate it. If you ever have any questions, please let me know, okay? If I can help you. And William, good seeing you, my friend. Say hello to Cooper. Hope you have a good day in Hawaii. And Marco, good seeing Marco. Hope you have a good night. If there's anything I can help you with, bud, you just let me know. But it's always nice to have you here, and I appreciate you coming. And I said goodbye to JT, right? I think I did. Well, if I didn't, I'm going to say it again. But I think I did. But thanks, JT. Have a good weekend. Appreciate it, bud. And I think that is it. Yeah, I think that is it. So I didn't have any trades yesterday, did have a trade today, so did have the losing overnight SPY trade. So my first trading day of the year, a little bit red, but that's how it goes. And we will persevere and see if we can overcome that loss. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with this weekend with all the geopolitical stuff for sure. So, all right. So 2 things before I go. One, as always, please go out and do something nice for somebody today. Just a wave or a smile, hold the door open. Just be pleasant, right? You never know that person that you do that small little gesture for. They may be having a bad day, right? They may be just like on the brink. You never know. And maybe that kind gesture that you give them, maybe will give them a little more faith in humanity and improve their day. And then maybe they'll go on and improve somebody's day, right? This country's so divided lately. And we all just need to get along a little better and be nicer to each other. So if I could ask 2 things. 1, go out, do a nice gesture for somebody. And 2, speaking of nice gestures, if you like today's podcast, I would appreciate it if you could hit the thumbs up button on the way out, or hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed. I would appreciate that. So Karen, look forward to speaking with you tonight on Skype. But at the moment, before that, I'm going to put on my hiking boots, head out into the mountains, into the snow. It's quite snowy here, and go for a little hike with my Katie girl. All right. Well, I think that's it, everybody. Thanks so much. Have a nice weekend. Have a safe weekend. Ryan, spend this weekend ordering those books and from Steve Burns, and listen to this on Twitter. Just start listening to Twitter, YouTube. Start listening to this. Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. It's about trading psychology. It's fantastic. And let me know what you think, okay? All right, everybody. I think that's a wrap for the week. So first week of the trading year done. And I hope to see everybody on Monday during the last hour of the day. Last hour of the trading day. Okay. Thanks again, everybody. Take care. Bye.
U.S. government required disclaimer. Stock, options, futures, and forex trading is not appropriate for everyone. While there is a potential for large rewards, there is also a substantial risk of loss associated with trading. The material in this video or live broadcast is not geared towards any particular individual or to any particular financial situation, and is not intended to meet the particular investment objectives of any viewer. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Any and all information contained in, implied, or referenced by this video or live broadcast is not to be construed as investment advice. and no representation is made that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast is an investment or financial advisor or is registered or authorized to give any financial advice. We are publishers and educators only. Therefore, the various producers of this video or live broadcast will not accept liability for any loss or damage of any kind which may arise either directly or indirectly out of the use of any of this material, including any loss of profit. No representation is made that any account or investment will or is likely to achieve the profit or losses demonstrated. We recommend consultation with a licensed and qualified professional before making any investment decision. This video or live broadcast is not to be construed as an offer to buy or sell any security, financial instrument, or financial product of any kind. Notice is hereby given that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast or their clients may have an interest in any security, financial instrument, or financial product mentioned or referenced. Any simulated or hypothetical performance result depicted does not represent actual trading and therefore may under or overcompensate for the impact of various market factors such as lack of liquidity. Thank you.